Welcome to this video day, which is on Saturday, April 22nd. Now, what I want to do today is look at some pairs we looked at last week as potentially good trade setups. And yeah, in the forecast we covered all the usual pairs that we do, but we picked out a couple of pairs to watch. One was GBP AUD, which we've been watching for a few weeks. We've done a few videos on it, giving our entries and giving our targets and so forth as the trade has progressed. Now, in terms of GBP AUD, I just want to go through it today from the perspective of getting into a trend in motion. We're lucky enough to be in it almost from the bottom. But there's been plenty of opportunities to get into this trade. There'll be plenty more in my view as well. Trade is running well for us at the moment. We're up nearly 1,000 pips, but there's going to be another 1,000 to come in my view. This is going to be a really nice trend. So just look at high probability entries from the perspective of buying pullbacks or coming in on breakouts in relation to GBP AUD, if I could say it. Also want to look at USD MXN, which we looked at last week as a potentially good trade setup, a high reward, low risk trade setup. And we'll look at that one in perspective of a CFTC net trader setup. Now, regular viewers will know we always look for big divergence between non-commercial speculators going one way, smart money commercials going the other way. We want to be with the commercials. Now, in terms of the USD MXN setup, it's a little bit different in terms of the way I'm looking at the CFTCs on it this week. I'm just looking for a net change in the positions and the rate of change of the group. So we'll look at that setup as well. And I also want to look at potential setup in GBP Tri, Turkish Lira. And think, in terms of, watching pairs, just don't, focus always on the majors. Some of these minor pairs offer great risk to reward trading opportunities. And I think GBP Tri is one of those. And I'll explain why as we go through the charts in a moment. Now, in terms of charts, we're going to start with GBP AUD, go through the other two charts. Then I'll be back with some additional points to sum up. So let's take a look at the charts. Member Centre, I'm just going to go through and update the two guest currencies we looked at last week. And basically, in terms of two guest currencies, just picked out two we thought offered really good potential risk to reward. I'll cover the other 9 pairs, the majors that we look at in Member Centre in my normal weekly report. Now, we're looking at GBP AUD, which I consider to be the best trend on the board at the moment in terms of profit potential, USD MXN, which we thought would have a breakout to the upside. But let's first of all take GBP AUD. Just going to review what we looked at last week and then look at getting high odds entries into trades that give you good risk reward. Now, in terms of the weekly chart, we noted last week that large speculators 7-1 in favour of shorts over longs, so heavily bearish the pound. Commercial 6-1 in favour of longs over shorts, so heavily bullish. The pound had already moved up a bit. We've done plenty of videos on this pair, and we'd come in at 161.45. We got above the 165 level, so about 450 pips, but we're looking for 171, this level of resistance here, which will give us 1,000, and then we'll get 2,000 if we go to our second target. Now, from our perspective, the heavy commercial buying is very, very bullish. That's the smart money, obviously, and the pound is very oversold. I put this Brexit candle here, okay. We sold off hard since Brexit, and yet nothing has really happened in the UK. So we see no reason why we won't get back to at least the bottom of this Brexit candle. So that's our big view from the weekly chart. Now let's go to the daily chart. Now, in terms of the daily chart, in terms of getting in on this trade, it's through this 20-day moving average here, which had been holding the trend since February. We knew with commercial buying here that, if we get above the 20-day moving average, we should follow through to the upside. It breaks, we move up, we dip back. I was saying in a video a couple of weeks ago, once the 20-day moving average has snapped as resistance, it's like a trend line, it's going to act as support. So here we touch it, here we touch it. It's also a round number just key off this level, okay? Up she goes. And then last week we'd come down. We hadn't quite got to the 20-day moving average, which is here, but very small candle here. Selling pressure is getting exhausted. A little bit of strength here. Commercials, we know, are heavily bullish. So yeah, we expect a push up to this level. So what you can do is just come off the level, stop behind the 20-day, double trend line support here as well. So if you put your stop back here, come in here, still got a very decent risk to reward, and prices actually did move up to our target. I'm going to return to GBP AUD, and show you the price action up to Friday, because there was another great high odds opportunity to get long it, but not on a pullback, but buying it on strength. I'll cover that in a moment. Just very quickly look at the USD MXN, which I want to look at as well in the moment, update the price action. Just like in GBP AUD, the 20-day moving average has held any USD strength since back in January. So it's very strong resistance. If it breaks, just like in the GBP AUD, we would expect follow through to the upside. So what I'm going to do now is just switch to the updated charts on these, and we can look at the high odds entries in a little bit more detail. Chart of GBP AUD daily, and then we noted last week it's these two little candles here that interested us, that pull back to support, go long on this candle here, say at a new high, tuck the stop behind this double trend line support and the 20-day moving average, and of course up she goes, nice big strong candle, then she hits straight into target at 171. Now in terms of this trade, there was another opportunity to get in on strength. Okay, let me just show you where it is. It's on this level here. Okay, so a breakout of the recent highs, if I could draw my line straight. Now, we're speaking to someone, when the candle had moved up to here and was pausing below this resistance, they wanted to be long the British pound and wait for the pullback. And at the same time, you want to go with a breakout. If it does break out, it's probably going to follow through. And at the time, we had UK Prime Minister Theresa May announcing that she was going to make a statement outside of Downing Street. Now, in terms of when Prime Ministers make statements outside of Downing Street, it's normally only for two reasons. Resignation of the Prime Minister or someone important in the Cabinet. Well, Theresa May isn't resigning, so don't think it's going to be that, or a Cabinet Minister, or calling a general election. Now, calling a general election for us is just out and out bullish of the British pound. The guy I was speaking to was saying he wasn't so sure about that. Same time, just let the market prove you right then. Just put a buy stop above the level. If the market takes it as bullish, it's going to follow through strongly, and that's what it does. Now, in terms of, if you did come in on strength here, you haven't got the best price, but, you're coming in above 167, you're getting to 171 in a couple of days, so you got, 400 pips. So it's a high odds entry, okay? And we also know, before the breakout, we've got heavy commercial buying, and speculators still heavily short. So what is going to happen is those speculators are going to get hit on stop. That's what happens. So in terms of GBP AUD, we're at our first target. With the bank we did on this trade, since 161.45, we're touching 1,000 pips in profit. And like I said when we were looking at the weekly chart, there is still far more to come in this pair, in our view. A little bit overbought in the short term. And also we've got the impact of the French elections next week, possibly on all markets. But there will be another opportunity to get long of the British pound on the Aussie. And like I said, I just see far more strength. We've seen plenty of upside so far, and in our view, more to come. Now, what I'm going to do is move to another British pound pair actually, which is a bit of an under the radar trade, which is GBP Try. Okay, we're on the daily chart of GBP TRY, and this pair really interests me. It's not one that many people really look at. What I like about it is that basically the pound here on this blue candle has come up to resistance, and we've taken it out on this candle here. Okay, it's nearby resistance. Now, we've now drifted back to test the breakout point. So, from our perspective, what we want to do is basically come through this 470 level, see if it clears. If it does, we'll go long and we'll tuck our stop back here, okay? Looking for a move up to 490. If we drop down below the level, we'll look to come back through it or back to the 20-day moving average with, we'll just wait to see if we can come off the 20-day moving average with a pretty tight stop behind these three candles here. Sorry, these three candles, my apologies. Now, in terms of why we like this pair, it's because, I've mentioned it in the weekly videos, we just view the big fundamentals behind the chart as out and out bearish of the Turkish lira. We've had that referendum, which almost makes it a dictatorship, effectively. Lots of problems in Turkey, lots of geopolitical problems in the region. And Turkey relies heavily on capital inflows. It's an emerging market currency. We think there's going to be a move from risk, so it's going to get hit hard. So for us, very bearish fundamentals for the Turkish lira, and of course we think the pound is very, very bullish longer term. And we just like the fact that it's come in to test this level. Okay, we'll have to see if it holds. If it does, it's going to give us a nice risk-reward trade. If we break back up above 470, then we can always, if it comes through the level, look for it to firm up into the 20-day moving average and take it on strength. Now, you pay a few extra pips in this pair over the majors, but in relation to the profit potential, I think it's really, really good. And unlike the Aussie dollar at the moment, GBP AUD, we haven't really seen a decent correction to a leveled key off. This one's got a leveled key off here, from the recent breakout point. So I view this as a good risk reward trade. We'll see how this one pans out. We are on the USD MXN daily chart. I'm just going to update the levels on the chart in a moment and give some indication of where I think we could be going. But first of all, what I want to do before we look at the chart is look at the CFTC net traders positions. Now, normally I sort of favourite setup with the net traders is to get the non-commercial speculators, see what they've got. If they heavily oppose the commercials, okay, big divergence between the groups, then we want to go with the smart money commercials. Now, this setup is slightly different. It's what I call just a net changeover. So they reverse their positions, but it's not major yet. But there is a big rate of change. I'll explain what that means. Now, what this is positions on the futures market. So it's the Mexican peso v the USD. Obviously on the chart we look at USD MXN. Now, what interests me this week is the non-commercials. Now, what they did up here when we were coming up to the 22 level is they loaded up on long USD positions, short Mexican peso positions, and they got hammered as the USD moved down. So all the way down, they got hit. And now what are they doing? We're on these four candles here when the report is done. They have decided to go long the peso, net long. You can see it, 97,027 v 82,783 short. So keep in mind, this is MXN v USD. So if we reverse that to USD MXN, they're obviously thinking the dollar is going to fall further. Okay, they've been hammered all the way down there. They're reversing their position. Okay, you can see the rate of change here. If we take out if we look at the longs of pesos they've put in, i.e. short USD, and the shorts they've taken out of the USD, we get a net change of 27,000 in favour of being short the USD. Okay, so this group now thinks that the US dollar is going to fall. What are the smart money commercials doing? No surprises, they're doing the exact opposite. They're becoming bullish of the USD. They were correct at the top here, 22, and obviously they were right. And now on these four candles here, these small ones, they have decided to get bullish the USD and short the pacing. See it, short 108,502 in terms of the peso, just 88,398 longs. So they basically USD bullish. Let's look at their rate of change. Well, they've taken out 20,606 of their bullish peso, bearish USD bets. Okay, on the other side, they've added in 6,305 bullish dollar bets, effectively going short the peso. So they're changing around by 27,000 contracts as well. So from our perspective, okay, these four candles here, we've got the slowdown. Actually, I've got blue line. I'm going to have to change that to black. Where did I do that? So there, okay. We've got very low volatility, okay. 4 small candles. Like I was saying, when we looked at the chart last week, I expect the USD to break higher, and the 20-day moving average is where I want to come through, okay, or this trend line here. So you can see what we've got. It's 4 small candles, low volatility, nice big candle up through the 20. We're now holding the 20. I personally now think with the commercial buying coming in, we should see the USD rise. I don't see us going below 1850. So where do we think we're going? It's going to be the same target. So it's going to be up here. Okay. So 2050. You can see if you come in above the trend line or above the 20-day moving average, the risk reward is pretty good up to here, and obviously a stop behind here. You could move the stop up if you wanted to, but my own view of this is that with the commercials and the way they've reversed this week, I don't see that reversal changing. I think they'll be piling into USD longs, while the non-commercial speculators are basically piling into USD shorts, and they're going to get hurt, the speculators. The commercials will come out ahead. I'm not ruling out, obviously, we'll get a little bit of volatility in the short term because, I said it earlier, we have got the French elections coming up, so that might give a little bit of risk on. For example, if Le Pen doesn't do well, could send the dollar down a bit, but don't see significant dollar weakness here. This one might be a little bit of a patience game, but we're now long USD MXN, and we think we're going up. Just one other point I want to quickly make. If we were to go across to here, we've retraced the whole of the Trump rally to these 4 candles. Just don't see things getting better for the Mexican peso. I think the USD is generally oversold. So I'm looking for a nice strong move to the upside in the USD. We'll see what happens next week, and I'll obviously be back to update this setup. We'll get back after that short analysis there of 3 Forex pairs. Now, in terms of GBP, AUD, they're just 2 ways that I think give you good risk reward when you enter a trend in motion. Obviously the dip back towards the 20-day MA, or on a breakout in response to a major news event. Now, in terms of GBP, AUD, as I've said, I think it's going to run far further to the upside. And at the moment, there isn't, in my view, a good risk-reward entry for fresh positions, but one will emerge and give anyone an opportunity to get in if they wanted to. Of course, we shall see what happens with that pair. In terms of USD MXN, use the CFTCs slightly differently to the way that I would normally use them. There isn't that big a divergence between the 2 groups yet, but I have a feeling that it is going to be a big divergence, just by the sheer rate of change, the way they're switching their positions around, both speculators and the commercials. And in terms of any trade you do with the CFTC net traders, I think when you get the volatility drop down, the candles get smaller, okay, then like on the USD MXN, you get the break in your favour on higher volatility, through resistance and trade AMA, I always take that as a very positive sign. See if that one does develop into a really nice trend, and we'll be updating that in the coming weeks. And yeah, finally, GBP try. Used a little bit of simple fundamental analysis there behind the chart, and I think that could be a good one, actually. I know not many people look at the GBP try, and actually, I've said it before, I like looking at those sort of more minor pairs, the pairs that, yeah, a lot of traders don't look at, because, yeah, they can offer not only good risk-reward opportunities, but they've got less speculative interest in them. And if you've got less speculative interest, yeah, you very often avoid, yeah, the whipsaw moves that you can get in some of the majors when there's a lot of speculative interest. So we'll see how that one pans out as well. Now, in terms of the other Forex pairs I'll be doing, yeah, my fuller weekly forecast, I'll probably do it tomorrow. Last week I felt was, yeah, a great week in the markets. This week could be a very interesting week, because obviously we are going to have the reaction to the French elections. Markets a little bit nervous about them coming into the end of last week. We'll be looking at what we think might happen in the coming week. So I'll be back with the usual forecast, well, sorry, the forecast tomorrow. I think everything's covered that I needed to say. So thank you very much for watching me as per usual. Take care. Have a good day.